Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Illustrator of Fantasies. I am your host, Celestian. Today, I'm going to start the inking. I actually had in mind that I wanted to do something different, answering a question from actually quite a few people. I get a lot of questions about what my process is, so I think at some point in the future I will do a breakdown of what my actual creation process is for just making my comics, doing how I do things. So and I wanted to do that today. Like, it was on my mind to do that this morning, and then I said, you know what, let me just stick with my schedule. So ideally what I really want to do, I'm gathering up all my tools so we can begin. Hopefully you can hear me properly or read me properly, because I do have the captions on. What I really want to do is try to get all the ink pages done this week. I don't know if that's going to be a thing that will happen, but I'll try. So let's figure out how we're doing this first of all. Get my camera in place. Have to do some fun maneuvering. Just make sure everything is, that is not what I wanted. No. Okay, can we see that? Yes, we can. Awesome. Let me bring this down just a little. That's not it. You tilt a little bit. There we go. The whole setup is about to fall apart. Okay. You're seeing that little thing up there is the edge of the clamp from the camera holding device, from the clamp, from the camera clamp. Alright, I need pencil. I do need my eraser, and I do want to get this up here, so my reference image. Alright, so first things first, I need to fix her here. She is not correct. And that's why we have the eraser. I mean, she's not correct. She's not up to date with the drawing that I made. My other pencils here too. And, I feel I need to work on, like, maybe make a new version of her crown or something that's consistent, because it certainly does change from, like, page to page, because I don't know how I made her look. Actually, I do. It's just not consistent. That's the only thing. I'm trying to go for consistency first. Love it when I can't find things. Most importantly, I love it when I make a decision that I need something and I start looking for it and I can't find it. That's what it is. Okay, found what I needed. That took so much. Alright. I got what I needed. Let's go ahead and do the thing. So, what I needed was the original image that I made of her crown. That's huge. I'm going to get this in here. Nope, we're gonna try that a different way. Face right. This book opens with us seeing the grand ancestor Tirana Colleen sliding off of my table. Touching a planet. So this process of inking allows me to go back over some of the earlier pages that were penciled. Hey Dark, how you doing? Allows me to go over these pages just to redevelop them, sharpen them up, make them look exactly how they should when I do start the inking process. That way everything is as consistent as possible, especially like, you know, for a few things, the imaging is just like inconsistent. Thank you, Dark, I appreciate that. I certainly try. It's going fine for me if my connection will stay stable. How are things for you? Thing buzzing around me right now. It's just a day. It's just a day. I'm gonna hold it together though. Try and hold it together. Alright. What does she look like? And we should have this is another element that should be a part of Tirana's look. Her ribbons here. Which definitely looks more like a, I don't know, I guess kind of a sash, but I'll be alright with that. So there's that. Doing good, just working through my own pages. Hey, well, we can totally make this a pages stream. And see, this is another area where, like, you can see the original looks are still here. Like, the stuff that I was drawing in but didn't really like all that much but kind of left in, still here. So I definitely want to take some time to fix all of this. What are you working on for your own project? Did you say this was page 1? So what I just did was page 1. This is pages 2 and 3. They're all 2-page spreads. So just kind of going through, getting everything like up to speed before I go over it with ink. Her hair definitely needs to be a little bigger. Working on my pulp story comic, 6 pages to go. It's only 8 in total, so it's not too bad. That's awesome. And this person, we need to get on out of here. There we go. Perfect. Yep, I saw it. I saw it just as I looked up, so that's fun. Taken care of. Anyway, 6 pages to go, only 8 in total, so not too bad. That's nice. There was I did a 6-page comic a few years ago, and I wanted to kind of revisit it and revamp it, but we'll get to that eventually, I'm sure. I actually really want to get through this first. Looks like I just put a jacket on them, which I did, but thought I had done a little more to revamp their outfits, but it's probably just not enough to make them look entirely different than what they are here. Gonna go in and make some adjustments up here. That's what I wanted. Here on this one. Do something different with this trailing leg. With her hands to the side, the whole scene just looks kind of awkward, so we're gonna do one of these things. Hands just hanging limply down, so okay. There's that. I need to define the lines of this dress a little more. That. My phone is going to die if I disappear, that's why. No worries. Do what you gotta do. You know, I will be right here. I'm gonna sacrifice that. No. Do that. I worry that some of these features and characters in the background are just going to end up being random blobs. What comics would you say influenced this story? What are your favorites? So because this story is as old as it is, I'd have to say a lot of the, 90s superhero comics were really a lot of my influence, especially, maybe some 90s anime of which I can never remember any of at this point. It was so long ago. But most of this stuff came out when I was in high school. Like, I was in the process of working on when I was in high school, so, I'm just kind of revisiting this story. So, it was kind of all over the place. Anything that I was looking at or reading or playing at the time were definitely influences here. So, I would definitely say, like, some early Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI, definitely there. Like I said, some early superhero comics, so some 90s superhero comics. So, I'm trying to think. There were definitely some anime influences, and I just can't remember what they were. So, really anything from. Oh man, what's the name of it? It's gonna bother me now. It is gonna bother me now. Neon Genesis was definitely an influence for me. Sailor Moon was definitely an influence for me. I'd probably say... Oh, what was it? Gunsmith Cats. There we go. Good grief. For some reason, could not remember that. Was definitely an influence for a little bit. At least some elements of it. Which I thought was really cool. Oh, man. There were definitely some others. So, I'm just kind of revisiting a lot of that influences and trying to update the look of everything that I have. So, because we're in the here and now. We're in the 2020s. So, it's not to say that I can't enjoy those influences. It's not what I'm saying at all. But, it's... I get to play in this story again. So... for me, it's definitely like I get to go back and say, yeah, I remember those days. I can't remember the stuff I was watching, but I remember those days. Yeah, Final Fantasy VI was great. I think Final Fantasy V was probably my favorite. Okay. So now we get a close-up. And we get to add detail here. Collar is definitely supposed to be much bigger. It was a lot of it was, around when I was in high school back then. So, about now, what do you think you'll bring to it with you telling it in 2020? A lot of my own understanding of how the world works. Hey, Young Dope, how you doing? I'll probably just be bringing my 2020 enlightened eyes about things, and it's kind of how I see the world now. Much different than when I was younger. I don't know that there's any specific thing or specific media or specific content or whatever that is influencing this now. It's really just me wanting to say, I want to save this story and I want it to turn into something fun. So, at least fun for me anyway, because, I have to live with this story for, a very long time, so I want it to at least be enjoyable for me. So I don't know that there's necessarily specifically any one thing. I have been... I've been keeping up with things as much as I possibly can. I think the biggest thing that I can say that is really bringing me back to this and making me want to do this again is just kind of seeing the state of modern comics storytelling, where there aren't enough leading black characters. There aren't enough leading queer characters. I want to get in and tell those stories, like, from my own perspective and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. These characters exist here in this world, in this story. So that's definitely been my influence, and just kind of the, modern media aspects of, what we've noticed has been missing from, you know, all the work we've been doing. Hey, Shmee! How you doing? How was the stream? I had to duck out for a little bit, because obviously I had to be here, so... Yeah, it's like I need to tell this story, because every time I read, you know, a tweet from someone saying, you know, I wish we had more of this and I wish we had more of that, you know, I'm like, you know, I actually am doing that. I actually am working on that story. That story of the black queer character that you're looking for, I actually am working on that story. Of black found families, I am working on that story. Of, you know, all of these different things. Like, those exist here in the world that I've created. What am I doing? So I said, you know what, let me just do this. I was happy to stop by, and I'm so happy to see that you were working on Ori and the Blind Forest. That is definitely one of my favorite little games. So yes. Endorsed. And, you know, I'm super excited and happy that, you know, there is that demand, that request, that need to do this, to tell these stories, because I'm like, oh good, like, it tells me that, great, there's an actual audience that is looking for what I'm producing. Let me go ahead and do this. I cried the first whole 10 minutes of it. Oh, I mean, I think I probably had that moment towards the end, but I'm kind of a sappy person like that, so I dig that. I can appreciate that. Because I can totally see that being a thing. Her face is kind of flat. Let's add in some features here. Alright. So now we're going to add in crown. That is just way too big for her head. Let's go ahead and fix that. There's such a need and audience for it, but there's so little that caters to a more diverse audience. We don't engage in those spaces as much sometimes. It's true. It's true. We need more comics and art and TV shows that tell more than just the cis-het nuclear family shit. And telling the, I'm so happy you're creating these comics and telling these stories and telling your story. I mean, that's kind of where I had to center everything. So, you know, I started Illustrator of Fantasies, you know, which is my name, my brand, some years ago, with just the idea that I wanted to, you know, I literally just wanted to be a painter. I wanted to be an illustrator. And then I started exploring the realm of comics storytelling. I'm like, oh my god, I remember when I was a kid and I used to do this. Why don't I just go back to that? And now it's been like, I had a story in mind that I wanted to do, and it was super violent. It was good, I think, but it was super violent. And I'm like, I think I need to put this down because I don't know that this is really where I want to go. And so I took quite some time off, and that's when I'm glad I did take that time off from creating anything, because that's when I start to see and hear more and more people wanting to say, hey, you know, this is what I'm looking for, this, that, and the other. Just following through with people, what people are saying on Twitter is like a big thing. What people are saying on Tumblr, social media in general. Like, there is that need for these things. And I'm like, you know, you're right. Why am I not doing that? Because these characters exist in my world. Why don't I just do that? And I came back to it, and I have had, you know, just such the greatest amount of inspiration every time I see someone saying that they're looking for that thing. I'm like, this is why I work. This is why I do what I do. And I'm excited to actually get this story done and actually be able to move into the actual real storytelling that I want to get into. This is just an introductory book. This is just going to say, hey, these are these characters, and you're going to see them, you know, in other stories. So, you know, I'm excited to actually do that. Just like very, very happy. So we need to put in her crown. She's also got these earrings. And yeah, I promise you, I just couldn't not tell the story this way. I could not, like, do this. So, you know, I'm excited to, you know, see where it goes and how it develops. I'm excited just to be working on it because, I mean, you don't realize how much you need something that you're working on until you sit down and you realize, like, wow, literally no one else is doing this, or the people who are doing this, you know, they're not as visible. Like, where are they? You know? Like, there are people who are telling stories exactly like this. It's just, they don't get as much coverage, as much press, I think, for whatever reason. But, you know, I mean, I could speculate for days and days and days about why that is. You know, we all feel that we know why. We have a really good idea as to why that is. But ultimately, you know, it's like, I am a creator. I can contribute to the whole overall everything that we're producing. I can be a person here for maybe someone, who knows. And at that point, it's just afterwards finding the right audience. Saying, you know, I could present my work to this specific audience that's local to me, or I can get my work in the hands of, or, you know, in the eyes of people who are actually asking for these things. And, you know, say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's how I'm contributing to the culture of what we have and what we're trying to build. Get the rest of her crown in. We're going to put a jewel right there. Teardrop right there. We were, when I was at work, I was in a conference call with my boss and everyone else in our district. We were talking about the whole discussion centered around diversity and inclusion. So, you know, it's definitely a realm that I tend to hover in pretty regularly. So, you know, I look at, you know, I'm constantly listening, I'm constantly reading things, and just kind of seeing what's being said and encountering the lack of coverage that we're talking about here. And, you know, just like what really can we do? You know, I work in the retail industry, so, you know, that we're even having that conversation is kind of important on its own. But it's very different. It's a very different conversation than, you know, us talking about media influences and media representation. But, you know, we were discussing maybe having like a library in the store where our team members can come in and just, you know, pull out a book. Maybe they want to read something. Maybe they want to watch something on their break that, you know, is not necessarily just created about the struggle of maybe queer people or people of color, but you know, maybe they want to read something that is, you know, a story that's written by queer people or people of color. How long is this intro story? So this intro book is 53 pages long. I'm going to be doing a few pages every night, just to kind of get through it. So I would love to get through the whole thing in a week. I don't know if that's actually what to happen, but it'd be nice if that could happen. Yeah, so we're thinking of some options to make that a thing, do what we can to kind of bring that representation to our team. And the funny thing is, you know, it's like we work with lots of college students, so they already innately get it. They already have that understanding of, you know, where that should be and what that should look like. So, you know, I don't have any fear that, you know, we're going to have any issues around that. My question is, what else can we do? Yeah, what more can we do? So, absolutely supporting artists is so important, not just talking about the change. Exactly. You know, it's like, it's great that we're all, you know, Black Lives Matter and everything, but, you know, what else are we actually doing? What active steps are we taking to present that different view? How are we centering that conversation on the people who need to hear it, on the people that it's about? I thought 30 pages were a lot of work. Well, you know, when you're writing your own story and illustrating it, you get to do whatever you want. So I'm definitely challenging myself here. We are looking really good right now. I love longer form comics. You know what? I like giant books of things. You know, the graphic novels and trade paperbacks. I think those are fantastic. I have in my head, and I'm super ambitious like this, at some point, maybe in the next, I think probably in the next few years, there is a very, very, very big book that I want to create. Kind of the culmination of all the stories that I'm telling right now. So, like, I'm excited about actually getting started with that and actually doing that. All right, so on this page, what really, really needs to change, this page is kind of, like, really all over the place. This guy's outfit. So I changed his outfit some time ago. Can't wait. Yeah, neither can I. I'm looking forward to it. Trees look good. I'll put that over there. Gotta fix their faces a little bit, and I'm definitely gonna come down in here for his outfit. Bring that right there. fix their faces a little bit. When I drew their faces in, I was just making sure that at least the basic shapes were there for me to start with. Hey, Geek, how's it going? Walking the dog. All right, y'all have fun. It's going to be a part of my superhero series, but eventually I plan on doing anime comics and all this. I mean, it's like, it's so good to have, like, a plan and some ideas of where else we want the work that we're doing to go. So, you know, I want to stay in publishing. That's kind of like my main thing. I want to continue doing this. I want to make comics, but, you know, not just comics. I want to make games. I want to do animation. Like, there's a lot that is in my head as like, okay, I'm super ambitious. What will be the perfect thing for me, you know, after getting some work done on, you know, these books? Like, where else do I want to go? What else do I see me doing with the name Illustrator Fantasies? To draw trees back here and go off the page just a little bit. Something like this in the background. Just kind of draw that shape in there. Let's get in there like that. Oh, that's right, I changed his outfit too, so... we have more defined lines and shapes to get in here. So that is page 7. Does that look the way I wanted to? Maybe. Okay, that is page, oops, let's do something different here. Your hair is going to look super different when I actually do the inking, so... Alright, there's that. And, you know, we're just gonna do that. We'll just bring that down so I don't have to redraw the whole thing. I'll let you guys see what I'm working with here. What's happening there? Aw, Shelby, thanks for the bits. How are you doing tonight? Thanks for coming through, by the way. I always love when you're here. Get through as many of these pages as I can. Good, how are you? I am recovering. I had a bit of a, I don't know if it was an anxiety attack or something today on my way home, so had just some snuggle time with the dude, and I'm cruising. There's just a lot going on at work, so happy to be here doing this, to be perfectly honest. It's rough. I hate the anxiety so much. Yeah, it was kind of challenging. I'm digesting the anxiety right now, though, so kind of getting through. I'm working on getting the kiddos' desk all set up for school. And nice. How's it looking right now? After recovering from him getting to, yeah, it was necessary. I'm just happy to be right here in this moment. Okay, so let's say we get up to, I'm going to try to get up to page 8 tonight. I feel that if I do about 8 pages a night, that might be a little overambitious because obviously getting the pencils done took me a couple of weeks, and that was maybe 5-6 pages a night. So far so good. Went to Target and found a desk chair, some totes, and some clear drawers for supplies. Nice! It is back to college time, so I'm pretty sure you're going to find a whole lot of that there right now. Missing a page. Missing a page. That's not it. There you are. Wrong word. Okay. So, I am a little terrified of starting this. It's like I needed them at this time, like instead of March. Yeah. I mean, you'd probably still get them, but you know, they wouldn't be as plentiful then as they are right now. Little terrified. I have a Sharpie here because I was going to do all of the actual panels themselves in Sharpie. I need to get my straight edge. That'll work. I need my masking tape, which is floating around here somewhere. I know I was just looking at it recently. Like, I literally set something on it recently. Oh, okay. Let me find my tape and I'll get you some lilacs. There it is. Way over yonder. Heard Joe Kubert used to keep tape by his side, so if he slipped up, he literally slapped some tape over it and kept going. You know, that's probably a good thing to do. I'm going to be using it just to keep, you know, some particular lines pretty straight when I want to mask things up and pick things you may not have tried before. I appreciate that. All right, y'all, we're going to switch real quick. I need to find my other paper. I'm going to draw some lilacs for Shelby here. I literally can't find anything tonight. What is happening? I toss so much stuff around. Alright, let me look up some references for lilacs. In case you guys don't know, what I have set up as a channel points reward, which are called Wisdom, is an opportunity for you guys to interrupt what I'm working on so I can draw something else really quick in 5 minutes. So if you want to use your wisdom to get yourself a nice little drawing out of tonight, you are welcome to do so. It's only 500 wisdom. All right. Let me find a really nice picture. Oh, I like this one. Let me see if there's another one that I like. I see another one that I like. Let's go with this one. Oop. That is like super big. Let's shrink that down to size. Actually, do that right there, right under me. Okay. Meanwhile, I am using a bigger reference. Sure you guys can see what I'm working on. Hey, dope, I'm actually going to need a reference for that one, so... The most important thing is that it has to be something I can do in just 5 minutes or less, so... Got a bunch of little guys right over here. Do right there, and we're gonna come down here, and some little guys. I don't really know if the placement is all that correct, but I know there's a bunch of open blossoms right up in here. So I'm just kind of placing them roughly where I see that they need to be. Let me take this leaf away because I think it's actually a little bigger than what it should be. There's one that is right next to it. It's just kind of sitting here. We've got a couple right up in there. Bug, go away. Quit bugging me. Right there. Right over here. Should have another one. Oh yeah, I think I got the placement pretty good. Should be another one down here. Oops. Right in the middle, one is trying to open. So if you guys are saying something right now, I am currently not looking at the chat, so I'm missing everything that's happening while I'm looking at my reference here. So, but I will be right there in a minute. So try to get every little bulb that I can count in here. Yeah, this is a nice little challenge. Thank you, Shelby. Right down here we have that. Petals that way. Fold right there, and one right there. I think some of my placement is a little off, but that's okay. You can just kind of draw more petals in here to take up space. Matter of fact, I think there's a couple that's just like right here, and then right behind it. Ah, here you are. this space right here. Oh yeah, there's one right here. Right next to that open one, yep. Okay. Back over with this. So we can actually see it. All the little petals. What are we saying? Hey, Young Dope. Yeah, my Instagram is linked down below in the panels of the chat. So you check that out, you'll find my Instagram information. So I'll tell you what, you get me that reference, and the next time I go live, I'll start with your guy as a one of my quick sketches. There's a lot of little bits in here. What was that? Oh, that's a leaf up there. Yeah, there's a leaf that's like right here, I think. See one back there. All right, Shelby, how'd I do? I'm glad you love it. So I will sign it naturally. And definitely you'll see it on Instagram tonight after tonight's stream. So thank you for that interruption. I appreciate it. I don't want to call it an interruption. I like a nice little diversion. Let's call it a diversion. Definitely worth it. So, like I said, you'll see this on Instagram tonight. All right. And Dope is getting me his reference for his character, so I'll definitely make sure I get that the next time I go live. So let's go back to what we were working on here. That loosened me up, I think. So that was a nice little quickie. Love it. Tended to get them as a tattoo someday. Would you be okay if I use that as reference for the artist in the future? I mean, I'm totally cool with it, so I definitely will have no problem with it. But I would say find you a better reference than my picture, because that is a lot of little bits and pieces in there. So it's probably not going to be the most detailed thing. So if you're going to use that for a tattoo, I definitely say get a more detailed image of it, and that way you'll be able to get a much better tattoo out of that one. So I think even your tattoo artist may say, I'm going to need better reference than that, which, I mean, I highly recommend it. More for the abstract idea of God. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, totally. Go ahead. Okay, so what are we doing with our lives? We are trying to ink. So, got my bottle of ink here. Please don't open. Okay. I may need some other brushes over here, maybe. Let me get those. I'll get that one. I'll get this one. Definitely don't need that one. Maybe this one. Okay, so got my brushes here. I'm going to move some of these other things out of the way. Okay. We're inking. We're doing this. I'm a little anxious, but I know I've got this. I've got this under control. It'll be good. It'll be very good. We're going to start with our lady over here. I'm going to roll up my sleeve, and let's just go in at it. I can play around with the curl pattern of her hair and do all sorts of fun things like that. debating scanning my pencils first. You know, I've thought about doing that. And every time I think about doing it, I don't. So I stopped thinking about doing it. Because I just, you know, my pencils are never as crisp as I would like them. But I know what should be present. So I just go for it. Blob, okay. Getting all of the lines. Even the ones that are going to get cut off when I crop it. Let's go ahead and do that one over again. There we go. When I crop it, Scrappy do. Okay, captions. Okay, I see you acting up. I'm reading the captions as I talk, and I see Scrappy do in there, and I'm just like, no, that's not a thing. That is just the weirdest. I always felt strongly about drawing to the edge of the crop so you have a whole piece of art. Yeah. And not just like weird cutoff points. especially on a 2-page spread, I think it's very, very important. I go completely beyond the line so that I know exactly like what exists beyond that point. So jealous right now. I love inking. I am starting to, I'm really taking to it. I did not always love inking. I always thought that my drawings were, strongest when they were just pencils. And then, I started to experiment, and then I'm like, oh, actually, this is not so bad. And then I didn't do it for a whole long time, and I'm getting back into it. What do you like about inking, Dark? I'm curious. Draw more shape and definition in her fro. I like the refining process, I suppose, and the controlled nature of it. Even if it's loose lines, it's a choice for the final look and not just pencils finding the shape or flow of something. Yep, I can see that. I have been learning to really, really like what the piece looks like at the end. After it's completely inked. It's so just, it is very crisp. It's very nice and sharp looking. I dig that. I have ink on my fingers. I don't like that. Don't like getting ink on my fingers. I hate getting paint and stuff on my hands. It drives me crazy. I get pretty upset about that. Do this. I get to, with inking, I also get to think differently about what I've drawn and how it's going to look in the final image of it. So, I don't know how I want to do. Get out of here, bug. I'll come back to the planets here before I just jump on into them. I'll definitely come back to that. Maybe I want to think differently about my plan of attack on that. Okay, so that's one page. Moving on. Let's start back here. You realize we are still getting to look at the lilacs. Oh, you know what? Let's keep them there. Let's let them have their moment. Let's let the lilacs enjoy their moment. That in there. I think this is the part that would make me the most nervous to do as someone who does not art often. These fine details that I'm putting in the background tend to make me nervous too, Shelby. But I put them there. I gotta finish it, so I can blame no one but myself if it doesn't go according to plan. I think probably what would have been better would be had I gotten a smaller brush. But I'm here with this thing, hoping that I don't drop ink somewhere on the page that I can't clean up afterwards later. That's happened before. And it is as stressful as it sounds. But, you know, that's why we're artists and we dance with risk all the time. Okay, we're making really great headway here. Will you letter digitally? Very likely. I have Illustrator installed on my computer, so I was probably going to try and experiment around with that. I have heard that lots of people use that, so I want to try it, see how well it works. I also have, what is that program? Give me a minute. It's sitting right here on my desktop. Comic Life 3. I wanted to play around with that too and see if I can come up with something nice. So I have a couple of different options for lettering, but it will definitely be... I've done the by hand lettering, and I don't know if I did it exactly the way it should have been done. It came out alright. Alright. But it's definitely not how I want to do that ever again. I had done a little bit and by hand and cut out speech bubbles and things like that. And I'm like, I don't think this is how this is supposed to work. That looks good. That's a mess. But I did it, so I gotta stick with it. You know, it's so funny trying to be as perfect as possible and then just kind of realizing, oh, that's a mistake, that's an accident, that's a slip. And then, you know, some of, you know, the early work of some great comics artists, you know, is also got some mistakes that they couldn't quite fix in post. So I'm not too hurt by that. Not entirely. I mean, a little miff maybe, but meh, what can you do? Like I said, I did it, so I made the line, I made the mistake. to switch to a smaller brush. That's what we're going to do. Just kind of jacking this up right now. Size am I working at? So the paper that I'm on is 11 by 14. Okay. The brush is, I think, is so worn by holding it and ink and everything that I can't really tell what size brush this is anymore. Yeah, I can't tell what size brush this is. Like, it's got a series number on here, but that doesn't really help anybody. I'm using this size paper only because I can, you know, kind of get some better details in where I'm not jacking it up. I hope that with more practice, you know, accountable to you all, obviously, that, you know, I'll be able to join the ranks of some very prolific inkers and very experienced ones. The experts. I long to be an expert at my craft, absolutely. I get all the little details in here? I think I just did. Okay. Whew. All right, we are 2 hours into the stream tonight. I'm going to take a quick break. Have myself a little bit of a refreshment. Stretch a little bit and kind of chill out for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got myself an apple. So I'm munching. I honestly think I have to go back to this brush here. It was the only one that I was really getting the details that I liked. So what I need to do is get more brushes like this. Okay, so we're going to jump right back on into this. Getting on all of our fun details here. Okay. Pages 2 to 3. Move that over there. All right, to get into some of the details here, pages 4 to 5. We're not dealing with far away shots. Now into some close-ups with details here. So I recently redid, I think a couple of streams ago, I redid these outfits, and I realized all I really added was the jacket. But it got me thinking more about, the rest of their look. So I was able to, kind of add in some other fun details. Or at least, better define some details that were already apparent. Go ahead and get our planet in here. Just had a thought. How to know if any of you remember Captain Planet. But as soon as I said, let's get this planet in here, thought crossed my mind that said, go planet. So I'm going down memory lane right now, and I might be taking you with me. Inking is occasionally lonely business. I do go with my random thoughts every once in a while, so. All the rings, yeah, seriously. Like, there's when I was finishing up the pages yesterday, there was a scene where it takes all of the characters out of, of the series, all the main characters in the dream, to actually use their power together to, eliminate the dragon, to get rid of the dragon at the end. And I'm like, I'm literally having a by your powers combined moment right now. So, Dark, I think we can chalk that up to another one of my influences. I thought that show was fantastic myself. I don't know how anyone else felt about it. I loved it. Trying to think, man. Have you seen the Don Cheadle Captain? No, I haven't. I have not seen that. I'm gonna have to look that up. I have to think, like, who... I think Mach-T was actually probably my favorite. I always liked what he could do. As a kid, we all thought that, he had mind control powers, or... or no, he was conjuring animals out of nowhere, and it's like, no, he was literally connecting empathically to the creatures around him. And that's one of those things you realize as an adult, I think, when you learn the words for it. So, and I think there was some moment I had where I revisited this series, and I'm like, oh, that's what he's doing. He's definitely not just conjuring up random animals. I mean, I think it looked like that because all of a sudden you just have all these wild animals everywhere, but... Conjure up a bear in the desert. I mean, seriously. It's kind of wacky. Not just any bear, random polar bear that just, kind of happened to be floating around in the ether, doing its thing. You'll have to tell me about this Don Cheadle Captain Planet sketch. I am gonna look it up on YouTube later, so I would do it right now and share it with all of you, but knowing that this I'm gonna be posting this stream onto my YouTube channel, I don't want to get that taken down because I decided to show off another YouTube video. That's why I'm not looking it up right now. Everybody knows about desert bears. It was Funny or Die, I think. All right, I'll take a look at that. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. Don Cheadle's amazing too. So. One thing I've learned from the few instances that I've had with inking is really to kind of trust the brush strokes that I put down on the paper and just kind of lean into it. Because with my hand, obviously, my brushstrokes are going to look very different than anyone else's. And, there's so many people who are just kind of struggling looking for young artists rather kind of struggling looking for their art style and trying to build something definitive. And I've always felt that an art style is just the way you draw things, like the level of skill that you have, but also the vision and how you put everything together. Just kind of how your art just naturally looks after, years and years and years of practice. It's like, okay, this is just my thing. Doesn't seem to be able to whisper you the link, but yeah, I'll definitely take a look for that. See if I can find that. That'll be a good nightcap. Oop, forgetting the hair. It's probably the second most important thing she's got going on there. Okay, that's what we'll work with. All right, now we get to move on to this. Thanks, Shelby. I'm going to start maybe up here with this tree. I drew all these little plants in this scene, and I don't think I want any of them there anymore. So I may do some fixing here in a minute. The idea was to make the scene look kind of crowded with foliage, and I don't think I did that quite well enough. Yeah, come back, paper. Keep going. Okay. We'll do our little mushroom circles here and here. So what's your next stage after I've inked? Well, I will color it. That is the next stage. So I've got all my watercolor paints here. My process that I definitely have been showing off a lot after inking an image is to lay down some blue so I can establish my shadows or tonal variances in the colors. And once that's in, then I take that next step of coloring. But the coloring will be fun because it'll be pretty basic. Try to keep it to similar color families or adjacent colors. So there'll be the blue, which will establish the tone differences for each color, and then I'll layer on my watercolor on top of that. Because they're in a... I want to like establish, okay, we're in a forest, but I also want it to be like, okay, we're also in a dream. So it'll probably be some pretty intense colors, I'm hoping. But I'll probably do just kind of like a basic wash of something and then layer on other colors on top of that. And just kind of keep it very, very simple. Enough for each page to kind of stand out, but or each image of the scene to, you know, have its own thing happening with the colors, but enough to tie everything together and just kind of, like I said, keep it simple for myself. I like this little guy over here. I think you can see what I'm doing there, as always. But yeah, I can't wait to... I'm excited about doing the colors. Okay. Now I want to get our people in here. He's at such a weird angle. Let's start with him and just kind of see if we can get him right with the world. kind of dangerous to do, to just kind of recreate this whole drawing in ink this way. But I think I got it. Yep. Got it. Gotta go to sleep. Great work. Catch you later. Thanks for stopping in, Dark. Have a good night. Appreciate it. Hope you come back soon. Come back soon. It is getting late. It's everybody else has lives to live, so I, on the other hand, am closing tomorrow, so I can stay up a little later than normal. Normally this is probably about where I'm like, okay, I think it's time to call it, but I think I actually want to stay up and get these 8 pages done before I actually wrap it up for the night. I'm a little daring today. Only because I don't have to work immediately in the morning. That is a confusing little blob of stuff happening there, but you know what? We're going to go with it. I think I want maybe these here. I didn't draw every little leaf in there, but drew a bunch of them. Get these guys down here. Okay. Where's that one? Alright, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to not go in immediately with the brush. Let's clean this off so we don't get anything right. Hey, Boomed! How you doing? I'm going to be lurking for 10 minutes or so if you're still in. I'll catch you when I get back, and if not, have a good night. Thanks, Shelby, for stopping by. Go ahead and lurk on. Enjoy your adventure. You're going to use a Sharpie and go over these panel lines so that I know where my boundaries are. Oh, wow. So I have 2 more pages to do tonight. Let me see. Actually, I did really, really well. So we're just about getting close. Okay. Alright, what I want to do is I need my drawing surface, which... There it is. Literally nothing is ever where I need it. I just want something flat and not soft and cushy like my mouse pad to draw on. Boomed. How is it going, my friend? Okay, there we go. I need you to be flat too. All my blue lines just to have in the panel boundaries so I don't go too crazy with stuff going on. Not so bad around here. What about yourself? Still playing Final Fantasy XIV? I jump in every once in a while. I actually finished the Crystal Tower yesterday on Asterion, my current guy. If you all don't know, I am a bit of an alcoholic in about every game that I play. So I have 5 in Final Fantasy V, and that's only because I like trying different combinations of things. But yeah, I finished the Crystal Tower yesterday, and probably be looking to jump back into the Red Mage story eventually. I think I am at the pre-patch to Heavensward, which I'm excited about. Heavensward was like my favorite expansion, so I will definitely be making some appearances back in game just to get through that. I want to experience it again. Do that, and we'll go in on... I'm just moving that to the side so that I can get to this right here. And, oh no! Alright, at least now I know better. I'm going to use Sharpie on top of this very thin paper. So that means when I go in to clean this up digitally, I have to remember that that's definitely a thing I need to fix on these. So, lesson learned. I'm getting there. Getting there. What about you, Boom? Have you been in game recently? I think I logged on yesterday and nobody was on, and then after I finished Crystal Tower and was just about to leave, that's when... I don't know if it was Kayla and a bunch of other people. Cyrano was probably on. which was really just as I was about to log out. I don't think I like the Sharpie as much as I thought I would. So my other thought here was to use my brush to actually paint in the lines. But because it's a brush dripping with ink, there's a good chance I was going to get ink in places I didn't want ink to be in. And I've not played in a couple months. I actually started to work again, got busy, had a passing recently. Oh, I'm sorry. So I haven't really had time to sync like I did back in April. I get that. My condolences for you. Put that off to the side here. Still check the Discord once in a while. That's how I notice you were streaming. Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely still active in the Discord. That's for sure. So can't leave the family just yet. Some more. Okay. So there's that. That off to the side. I'm gonna put you over there as well for now. Yeah, I am definitely streaming. I've been going really strong actually, so doing some good stuff. Work has picked up a little bit for me too, but also classes start next week. So I honestly don't know how much of anything I'm going to be able to get done, really. That's kind of another reason why I'm trying to get through inking this book this week. I mean, I should be pretty good, but I think I have an accounting class starting, and I think it's my English class, business and professional writing. For all my new visitors to the channel, of course, I do currently have a regular schedule. It will change, I'm sure of it, when classes start. I'm almost 100% positive I'm going to have to change my schedule. But for right now, it is Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 7 p.m. And then I do an occasional stream. It started out kind of like every other Sunday. But I think this month I may be able to do an every Sunday, 12 to 4. It's just game day. So currently, I am fighting my way through Darkest Dungeon. Just started last week. So if you are interested in checking that out, that is Sundays, 12 to 4 p.m., all times Eastern Standard. Just throwing that out there in case y'all might want to come back for that, and not just me struggling through drawing a comic book. The Sunday was actually really fun. I finished the pencils yesterday on stream, and then for the last couple of hours it was Darkest Dungeon. It was a lot of fun. Definitely want to try some other games. Like another one that I picked up was Total War Warhammer 2. I definitely want to do that on stream at some point if I can. Strategy games are super fun. You know what? Who cares? I think I got the little dealy bob a little wrong, but meh. It's alright. I can only hope that watching me do this is kind of therapeutic to some of you. It feels kind of nice to me. One thing that I need to include in my thumbnails that I haven't is the dialogue and speech bubbles. My original thought with how I was doing everything was to make sure that that was there. That's why I had the blue pen as part of my work on my thumbnails, my layouts, so that I knew exactly where speech bubbles were going to sit. I can make sure that the whole thing got done, and it just never came to pass. Just never became a thing the way I wanted it to. So I have to remember that this is actually a thing. I do have to lay out also the dialogue bubbles, so... So I screw that up. That's awesome. Brush slipped out of my hand. And now our tree has a giant gash in it. Well, you know what? We'll just make that part of the whole thing going on back there. Can confirm is very soothing to watch. I try. Ah. That tree back there. Move on to these guys down here. Let me see where I am here. Okay. Out of all of the characters here, only one hasn't gotten his full layout just yet, and that's our guy right here. So the next layout that I'm going to do will be his. Getting there, getting there. I don't know what kind of clasp or something he has here. I'll put these in right here. Just do something like that. Widen that tree behind him. We'll go ahead and put just that there. Can't really have such a magnificent beard and not have a hairy chest. That's just not how that works. Perfect. All right, I'm headed to bed. Hope you have a good night. Your art is, as always, beautiful. Thank you, Shmi. Enjoy the rest of your night. And congratulations on making affiliate. Everybody, this is Shmi. Should be able to do this. Should be able to get that in there. There we go. Today, Shmi had her affiliate stream and was playing Ori and the Blind Forest, which is one of my favorite games. 100%. So, again, congratulations, Shmi, on making that milestone. That is fantastic. You know, obviously, this community is going to take care of you. You're going to get a lot of fun things happening right now, so enjoy the rest of your night. Gonna get these last pages in for the night. Like I said, I think I'm doing really, really well right now. Just one more page after this, and then I'll be done for the night. But some really good headway here. can tell you all right now, I have come a long way from my streams when I first started. I used to get my my big head in the camera shot. Then I, discovered new clamps and ways of holding my camera so that doesn't happen. Come a long way. Getting up early to go for a walk for some reason, but I'm excited. Yeah, you know what? Those walks, I mean, it's a really great opportunity to just kind of gather your thoughts and get that fresh air. Like, I live now in a house that has a backyard. And the one thing I realize I haven't done is, like, go out to just enjoy the backyard. Especially not this year, so... There used to be hair close-ups in early streams. Oh, they're not just hair, like head. Like, all, like, the whole thing. You wouldn't even be able to really... I mean, you could call it hair close-ups, but it was kind of a mess. I'll be leaning very forward like this, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I just realized the camera is, like, right here. It was kind of a mess. Alright, this is page 7. I'm looking at this right now, just kind of off screen. It just looks really, really nice. Let's get some clothing wrinkles in there. Uh-oh, that sounds like a bean trying to get in here. Alright, this page is a little more involved, but it's the last one of the night. I'm gonna start back here. We've got some foliage. I actually haven't told anyone, but husband and I have decided to speak with mortgage lenders to see if we can qualify. Nice! Very nice. I figure if we don't even qualify, we'll know the steps we need to take. You know what? That's really great. That's really great. I mean, take those chances while you can, when you can, and you won't really lose anything. You're just like, hey, like, what do we need to do this? How do we qualify? How do we make this happen? That's super exciting. Still being weird, lurk away, King. I remembered just now that you were lurking, so... Geek knows we like it weird. Just caught up on chat. That's super exciting. You never know until you try. I hope that works out for you. Like, for real. I mean, that's fantastic. You know, life starts with taking those chances like that, so... And yeah, I think any lender will definitely be on hand to share, you know, information like, hey, this is, you know, maybe you guys don't qualify yet, but this is how you do that. Or like, oh yeah, you totally do. And we can totally walk you through the entire process of what will happen. So go for it. Thank you for giving me access to the cutest emote ever. Best case scenario, we get approved. Worst case, we don't. But again, we gain some... Exactly. Waffle Boy should be nice. Okay, Waffle Boy. Teach the steps that are needed, or further steps if needed. I am just glad everybody's able to make it and just kind of enjoy each other's company. Like, that's the best part. Like, I meant what I said. Like, this community, Geek, that, you know, you've definitely been putting together has been really the best for everybody, I think. And I am truly blessed and honored to be a part of it. It's okay, I keep weird hours. I'm working on a better schedule for people also. I might push a few streams back. Well, I mean, if it makes sense to, you know, cater to your audience, then absolutely do that. Really cathartic, especially as I'm in another one and the Discord has blown up with the drama and cliquish behavior this past month. Ooh. Whew, yeah, that's rough. I am truly sorry about that. But also, for anyone who is hanging out and following right now, if you are not already following Geek in the Pink, please do so. He is a fantastic person. Like, really, it's an honor and just the best to know him. And you will have such a good time in his streams. I promise you. like a bunch of us really do hang out together, so it's really the best experience. We built this community. All I did was give it a platform and a voice. You guys, I mean, no, seriously, it's with that facilitation and everything there, it's just been really great. You know, I came to Twitch really just because I wanted to do what I'm doing right now. And, you know, I really was hoping for and wishing that I could meet some fantastic people. So, you know, I started hanging out in different streams, and then, you know, Twitter started to happen, and then, you know, it just kind of came what it is now. And I'm super excited that, like I said, I get to be here and actually participate. So I'm happy. I'm probably more than happy. I'm really blown away by everything that has happened. So. Shelby, I think it's just the nature of people. You know, we get into those modes where you know, we want to surround ourselves with certain people, or, you know, we see things happening, and, you know, a part of it is like, I need to say something about this, but, you know, and it's just kind of, it's the nature of people. I mean, I really can't say much more to, like, than that. And I know it sounds kind of like an excuse, but that's really just how people are. You know, even some of the, you know, best people you'll ever meet are, you know, can have those moments like that. And it takes active effort to not give in, or to really watch ourselves and make sure that we're not doing that in all the other groups that we're around. So people also show their worst side on the internet. It's amazing how quickly their voice changes when put in strange positions. Yeah. I suppose I expect people to fight that kind of nature. I mean, some people do. And some people are, I mean, that's just how they're wired. That's just how they're built. And we can say all sorts of different things about it, but I mean, ultimately, that's just what people do. I need to refresh my brush. It's been an absolute delight having you be part of this, and I've really enjoyed watching. You know, I've enjoyed it too. I have enjoyed it too. It's been really great. It's been really great for me. You know, it's like I have people I can just kind of share what I do with, and, you know, I'm super excited about that. There were made mods and started ranking people in Discord by level of friendship with the streamer. I was like, yikes, and just muted this. Ooh, God. Why would you do something like that? Like, at what point does that seem like a good idea? I say gross in that sense that I think it's gross that people would put... Yeah, like, no, that's not a thing we do. It's not a thing we do. It's a lot of nope for me. I did honestly serve to help me realize which communities are worth my time, and I'd rather spend my time and energy that I get with you guys. Aw, well, thank you. I think that's the other thing. It's like any relationship is, built on, do you find that the people that you're around are worth being around, but also do you want to continue showing up for it? And I think that's super important that, if you're, we talk about, community safety a lot, but I think something like that's definitely something that's just not a safe environment. So... And, like, honestly, for something like that, even the streamer must be, kind of supporting that behavior. So it's probably one of those things it's probably just best to avoid. I think lots of people come to... having that type of attention and that type of influence on others, and knowing that, people are just kind of there for them, I think it brings out... I think it does definitely tend to bring out, not necessarily the worst in people, but kind of like their insecure tendencies. Having that level of fame and notoriety, and, it becomes a cult of personality where, people don't really question the ideas and the attitudes that are within their community because, we're all here to see this person or talk to this person. And that person is, kind of eating it up. It's like, no, this is exactly what I wanted. And it's like some people build a community for that specific purpose, to have someone to build themselves up. And, I can understand that. But when it gets to the point where, you're ranking people by their level of friendship with you, some people who may have been there because you were entertaining are probably going to check out, because that's not really a safe environment for them. And you have to think about the number of people who have been in abusive relationships that start off in the exact same way or with similar ideas and attitudes. And it's like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to check out from that. The only downside was that we were going to start a book club, and I've always wanted to be in a book club with friends. And that actually makes me super happy to hear. The goal in the end is to build a network of people, streamers and non, who just connect and talk, hang out, and support each other with the state of the world. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? That's where we are. And Shelby, I will totally be in the book club with you. What books are you interested in? Because obviously I am a fantasy person, so I do have a lot of books that I would totally recommend, and I also have a lot of books that I would like to read again, or just read in general at some point, so... Shelby, start the book club. Ours probably isn't as big as the one you're in, but we can start it, and you are welcome to invite people. Like, I think that would be fantastic. Of everything, honestly. Fiction, non-fiction, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, not gore or anything. Anything in between. Okay. I'll be pretty one-minded with my focus on fantasy books, but there are some other titles that are really getting me. There was some non-fiction books that I was like deeply engrossed in that I still actually have to go back to, just because I want to finish them. And I do have some HR related books that are probably only interesting to other HR professionals, but you know, there were some environmental books that I had. I was reading Collapse. I definitely never finished that. Again, nonfiction. And I definitely want to go back to. And there were a couple of others. Guns, Germs, and Steel. That's what it was. It's another really great book that I was really deeply involved in. That never finished. Go figure. So yes, let's start the book club. I think that would be super cool. Oh my god, y'all, getting almost done for tonight. I'm gonna make you guys mods. Aww. Thanks, Geek. I am deeply invested in all the good things that, you know, we're all doing with each other and together. So I think this is going to be, I think this is great. I think what we have as a community, as a group of friends here now at this point, I think it's all safe to say we're groups of friends. I think we've got some really great stuff happening. Shmi will be all over it. She finishes like 3 books a week. Wow. I feel like I keep making channels. Well, you know, I think the big thing is that, you know, we're appealing to the interest of everybody who's actually coming by regularly and just kind of enjoying what we're doing. So I think that's, you know, it's how it's supposed to go. So keep adding rooms to the house, more people will keep showing up. So last panel. Start with his beard here. Someone's gotta watch, right? Streaming isn't just about video games. So many other interests and non-streamers should be just as part of the community. I'm all for it. I mean, it's true. It's absolutely true. And I think more people are, you know, will really take it to heart if, you know, the people that they're watching doing things on their stream channels are interested in, have, like, share the same interests and, you know, can actually have conversations about it. You know, there are people that they can go to, you know, really geek out with. So, and have those really great shared community moments where, you know, we're all coming together because of our mutual love for this particular thing, whatever it is. Okay. It's done. These pages, up to page 8. Done. So let me make sure that I am on track here. So it's 53 pages by... Okay, so 7.5, 8 pages per night, and I can actually finish inking this entire book by the end of the week if I'm doing 8 pages a day this week. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to do that. So that means, you know, I may not necessarily be on stream doing it, but because obviously it looks like it takes a few hours to actually get through it. Are you undecided on their faces, or is that the style? I'm going to do their faces with a little more detail than what I want to do with my brush right now. So I want to make sure that I'm able to focus on getting that done. It'll probably be one of those quiet days, and I have them like, okay, I can go back and add that final detail in of their faces. So for some of their faces, like depending on how far away they are in the scene, like how far in the background they are. Let me switch views here. How far back in the scene they are, then that'll be I'll probably just leave blank faces. It's like we know who the characters are by their silhouettes. You know, the way their hair is, how they stand, and what, you know, they're holding and things like that. So I can leave their faces blank, and we all still know exactly who they are. The sages, because we only have so much of an understanding of who they are, it'll be a little more difficult to say, oh, okay, that's this one and that's that one. But there will be. I am also pondering and contemplating a story where we have just them, so we can actually focus on getting to know who they are in the story overall. So makes sense since they're smaller than the big faces you were able to ink. Exactly. So so we will definitely see a story about the sages by themselves, just like a one-off. I also want to do a story about Tirana herself in a larger work. I'm thinking maybe it'll be like a serialized thing. I don't know. So I've got lots of ideas of stories that I want to tell, and everything that just kind of works together and is all tied together. So I'm gonna be thinking of some ways to do all of that. I want to send you guys on a raid. Let me see. Let me do this real quick. But you know, it's kind of late, so maybe we'll just call it. Maybe we'll just call it. I know everybody wants to get some sleep and everything, so, and I will release you. Thank you everybody for coming by and just hanging out with me, having fun while I get these pages inked. So I'm super stoked about what I've accomplished tonight. Shelby, remember, look towards Instagram for your lilacs. They will definitely be up there tonight before I go to bed. Because I've got some other things that I want to put up there too, or at least make ready. So, but again, thank you everybody for stopping by. Geek, as always, you know it's a pleasure. You know I love you. Shelby, thank you so much for hanging out the entire time. I appreciate that. Everybody, go check out Shmi as well if you're still hanging around. She'll be back, I'm sure, at some point. She's getting her schedule together by my all understanding. All right, I don't want to hold anybody up. Let's all go to bed. Good night, everybody. Great stream today. The comics, yes, it is, and I'm super excited to get through this inking. So, all right, good night, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care.